You are Locked On Astros Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Houston on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, there was absolutely nothing fun about tonight for the Houston Astros. Hello and welcome to the Locked On Astros Postcast tonight, as there is basically one guarantee with the Astros in 2024, or I should say two. When they are great, boy, oh boy, are they fun. When they stink, they absolutely stink. And they have gone back into stink mode. I mean, absolutely insane how they just flipped the script. We all know that it is a baseball season, and I'm going to beg and plead of all of you, like I'm going to remind myself, we don't have to overreact to everything. It's okay to still talk about them winning again or them being in the postseason or whatever it might be. Like, you can still live that way, because the reality is, like, if the season ended today, this is still a postseason team. It's an AL West champion at this moment. Are they sliding in the wrong direction? Of course they are. They're playing like absolute garbage right now. They've started this stretch where they have a lot of games in a lot of days, and they just keep losing. They have played a total of 12 games so far, and they've lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those games. It's not how you want to play this stretch of baseball that is very difficult to go out and play. And they've done another, thing tonight where they just go out and say, screw it. You do have to tip your cap to Aaron Nola. He was awesome tonight. Absolutely awesome. The Astros bats were just as bad as he was awesome. So both things can be true, of course, when you're talking about a baseball game. Let's talk real quick. I want to remind you guys that tonight's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial from NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube TV and YouTube. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. I'm not having fun the last couple of nights. I know you guys are not having fun the last couple of nights. It's sad. It's sad baseball. That's what it is. They are back in a slump. They got red hot, and it's just like a hitter at the plate. You will go through periods of time where the baseball looks like a beach ball, and you're crushing it all over the place. And then there's times where it looks like a lima bean. And if any of you have played baseball throughout the years, you know about those lima bean hitting drills as a kid. There's nothing I hated more than lima bean drills. I absolutely hated them. But that's what they look like right now. They look like they're swinging at lima beans. Yeah, they faced Zach Wheeler last. They're facing their two best pitchers, the Phillies' two best pitchers the first two games. I get it. Wheeler last night, Nola tonight. Those guys are all-stars for a reason. Nola's been really good this season. Wheeler's been awesome this season. And they went out, and their two guys outperformed the Astros staff. Now, look, the first game, one-run game, those things happen, whatever. Tonight, it was Verlander versus Nola. We're going to talk about Verlander in a minute. I'm willing to confront the truth of anything when it comes to this baseball team, and I do want to confront a truth tonight when it comes to Justin Verlander and, how he is in terms of what you're expecting out of him. But, of course, we'll talk about the offense at first. The signs have not been wonderful. It was nice to see Jose. How about that? I'll say something nice to start. It's nice to see Jose Altuve have 2 hits. Didn't love his last at bat when he keeps chasing stuff that has no business being swung at. Bregman 0 for tonight. He had a couple of bad strikeouts. Jordan, 1 hit for him. Yiner, not a night to write home about for as red hot as he has been. 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. They strike out 8 times as a team. The only other guy that gets in the hit column tonight, only other guys, Ben Gamble. He's been a solid pickup so far. Him, Jake Myers, and Mauricio Dubon with that bunt single there at the end. By the way, at the end of this show tonight, I did want to give some thoughts on it. The news that they're going to be signing Jason Heyward. That is interesting. I think it's a good thing for this team to add some depth to it and guys that you can kind of count on to play the outfield, because they are just a horrendous baseball team when it comes to outfield production overall. But, I mean, simply put, that you go out and you get 6 hits, you score no runs, of course you're never going to win baseball games. It's simple math, right? All they had to do was score one more run than you. And you can give credit, even if you're upset about it, and I'm upset about it as well. You know, you have to give credit when the other team does execute their jobs, because their jobs, like, I know that we live in this bubble at times where all you think about is, okay, well, it's only the Astros. The Astros are only going to be the only team that wins in this. And you're going to lose 60 to 70 games, whatever, a year guaranteed when you're watching your baseball team. And the other team is going out there to do the same thing you are. And their guys are paid at a high rate, like your guys are, to do that and execute that job. And they're paid that rate because they're the best at what they do. And some nights, the best on one side simply are better than what's on your side. And to an extent tonight, for the first 7 innings, I thought in large part that was the story of the baseball game. Aaron Nola was awesome. He gave up just 4 hits. He walked just 1. He struck out 6 across 7 innings, and obviously giving up no runs. Their bullpen behind him gave up 2 hits. That's it. And that was it was Ruiz who gave up the 2 hits. Astros 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. They left 7 men on base. So they weren't even like, this wasn't even one of those games where they had a lot of opportunity. You know? I think that's just kind of where it's at this point. I am with you guys. I am checking on your comments. I'll pull up some comments right now I know that you guys are mad and this is the way that you get in here. I will say, like, this right here, this team looks so disinterested. I think that that's just factually incorrect. I think this is what we do when we watch baseball teams and they lose a game one night. Oh, they just don't look like they care. They just got beat. They're just playing bad right now. I'm telling you, they absolutely are interested. They wouldn't have climbed all the way back in the season from where they were and then said, you know what, we're not interested anymore. Just go start losing. It's not how it works. I'll give you another one here. Need a new hitting coach. This is always a popular one. And look, I'm not saying that you guys shouldn't pop off when you're mad, frustrated. I appreciate you guys doing it. I really do. They don't need a new hitting coach. They need their players to stop swinging out their backsides half the time. That's what they need. The hitting coach can only do so much. And honestly, hitting coaches in Major League Baseball today don't mean a lot anymore. Every one of these guys has their own personal guy that they work with on the side. They work with the team hitting coaches, but it's not like it used to be. So it's not a hitting coach. Also, these are the same hitting coaches that the Astros won a World Series with in 2022, that they've gone to the ALCS with every single year for years now. Like, it's not a coaching problem. It's not an interest problem. It is a going out and executing poorly and not playing to your talent on a given night. And then also the ebbs and the flows of a baseball season. Right now, the flow of it, the ebb and the flow it's bad. They stink right now. Trust me, I'm absolutely beyond myself right now. I can't stand watching them at the moment. I want to go back to, we were sitting over here the other day. I remember we did one of these shows recently, and I'm just like, man, I'm having fun. Aren't you guys having fun? I was having fun. And it just hasn't been as fun. That's okay. I can live through it. You know, just find a way to claw out of it. And it's not going to be easy. Look, this weekend, they're welcoming the Kansas City Royals to town. The Kansas City Royals, one, are young, dumb, and fun, is the way that you put it. They're a little naive probably on knowing what they can and can't go do. They're red hot at the moment. They're on their way to taking an AL Central lead here possibly this week against the over the Guardians. And they're coming in, like I said, smoking hot. So tomorrow, I know I love to throw around the must-win for the Astros. Tomorrow's about as must-win as it gets for this team. Seriously. About as much of a must-win as they've had this season, because you cannot go into that damn game on Thursday against that Kansas City team and be licking your wounds a little bit. You need to be feeling right and come back home on a happy flight and just get the mindset back where it needs to be. You also can't keep losing because, and we'll see what happens, the Mariners game has not started yet. But look, still have a 3-game lead in the division right now. I've talked about you can have one bad week, and if the other team has just a good enough week, and that doesn't mean Seattle's going to play the most blazing hot baseball, they can go out there and win 2-1 every night because they still can't hit the ball. They can pitch. But you could go have that happen, and then all of a sudden you're back behind them. And it's too late in the calendar. It's too late in the calendar for that. They're still the better team than Seattle. The Mariners aren't going to pass them. They can't hit enough. They can't. And if they do pass them, I'll eat my words, of course. I'll apologize to all of you. That Seattle team's just not good enough. I've seen it too often. I know the story, how it goes. Like, it's not happening. You just have to ride the wave and ride out the storm here. Get some health back. It sounds like you're getting closer to Kyle Tucker now. He's doing sprints. That's a big step. Get through this and get into the month of September where you play the A's and the Angels a total of 10 games in the month. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and the Reds for 3. That's 13 games against teams that you should just absolutely have your way with. And if they don't, then you have a problem. Then we'll talk about it. And then we'll be talking about a team that's not going to be playing postseason baseball. But I'm going to keep saying it right now. They'll be playing postseason baseball. Let's talk about Justin Verlander. I say I like to acknowledge truths. It's one of my things. No point in hiding from truth. There is some truth to Justin Verlander that we do have to acknowledge, and maybe we do inside. We can do it out loud next here on the Locked On Astros Postcast. Right now, though, I need to tell you about FanDuel. And you've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel. Of course, that's America's #1 sports book. But we have something a little different for you. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. Just visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to download America's #1 sportsbook. Locked On Astros Postcast on another sad night. Absolutely sad night because the Astros stink right now. They are not very good. Hey, if you're new to the channel tonight, by the way, I'm your host, Michael Connor. Thank you for joining me. Please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Come back and join us tomorrow. A little bit of an earlier start tomorrow, 3:05 the first pitch. So we'll be with you dinner time. Maybe some of you leaving the office late, whatever it is. Crank the YouTube on. Don't watch while you're driving, but just listen to it. I appreciate you guys joining me as always. And you can, of course, again, join us tomorrow night. Hit that subscribe button, and you can help us on our climb to 1,800. We're still on our way. We're getting closer by the day. You guys are making it happen, and I am truly, truly grateful for it. If you're looking for this show on the podcast form of it, go ahead and search for Locked On Astros anywhere that you get your podcast. And guess what? It is free. And you get this show and the Locked On Astros show for nothing. That is Brett and Eric over there doing their show. Go subscribe to their YouTube page as well. So many of you already have, but keep hitting it if you haven't yet. Like this show, like that show, like all the videos, watch all the videos. We appreciate you. Help all of our channels grow. And those guys do a great job over there as well. By the way, this channel, of course, I'd like to remind you guys not just about the Astros. We do these for the Texans as well, and the Rockets and the Cougs. This weekend we will have our first Cougs show. It will be after. It won't be live when the game ends because we will do the Astros game first, and then we'll hit the Cougs right after that because I kind of want to get one under my belt. We're not going to be able to do all of the Cougs football games right out the gate because of schedule conflicts and whatnot. I'm going to try to do it. And I say schedule conflicts because of the Astros and whatnot. So I'm going to try and do some of them as we can. And then, of course, you can go check out the Locked On Cougs Daily show with Parker. He does a great job with that as well. Make sure you're checking that show out. Go check out Locked On Texans as well. Today was cut day for the Texans, and they made a bunch of cuts. Not too many surprises, I thought, across the roster overall. I thought they kept basically everybody that you should have kept that showed out in the preseason. And there you go. And then Jackson with the Rockets as well. Go check out the work there because, well, Rocket season will be here before you know it. So let's talk about Verlander now. Done all my promoting that I need to do at this moment. And because I love you guys, and you guys love Locked On, and we're appreciative of you joining us all the time. Justin Verlander. We know he's not vintage Justin Verlander anymore. It's just not the same. He came back in 2022 from the Cy Young, or from the Tommy John, won the Cy Young that year. And even that year, it wasn't the exact same. The contact sometimes was a little bit more. You know, he relied on ground balls a little bit more, relied on his defense a little bit more. Wasn't as wipeout all the time. The velocity was still good, and it's still good now. But he doesn't have elite put a guy away stuff anymore. Just doesn't. He is reaching the stage for however much longer he's going to pitch where it is a beat you by getting key outs from the defense behind you. He'll still have games where he strikes guys out. Because, I mean, look, he can still ramp it to 95, 96. Still miss bats with that. But he can't go out there and throw 95, 96 every single time he throws a fastball. His breaking stuff isn't as sharp as it once was. His breaking stuff was never unbelievable. Like his curveball back in the day was really good. And then when he came to the Astros, it was more to the slider. To me, now I'm saying this is somebody that's not in the box. You could be in the box and go up there and it looks completely different. His slider doesn't look like it has a bunch of horizontal movement. It's more of just a tight spin and breaks a little bit at the end. Almost to the degree of where now it almost looks like a cutter, but like not a cutter. But it's not as lethal as it first was when he got with the Astros. His curveball, he can't always rely on. You saw it tonight. I mean, Castellanos sat on one and parked it 20 rows into the seats for a 3-run bomb. You know, he's not the ace of the staff. He can have his moments. Every guy that's great like that can still go out and find it on a given night and pitch like he's 28 years old again or 34 years old again and not 41. Is he 41? Right? Yeah, he'll be 42 next year. I love watching him still to this day. Is it as much fun as it was when they first got him? Of course not. And what he did that 2019 season was just incredible. Between he and Garrett Cole all season long, just absolutely, doing their thing. It's just not the same guy. And it happens to all of us. Whatever we're doing, we all slow down. You could be the most finely tuned athlete. Father time is real. It's hitting him. I think he can still pitch effectively at the big league level, but it's not going to be the guy that goes out there and has a 2.25 ERA, or even the guy that came back from Tommy John at 39 years old and sports a 1.7 for the year. He's going to pitch closer to a 4. That's not terrible. Like, you can live with that because that means he's still going to have starts where it's not that. And he's not going to pitch 7 innings every time out. He's going to go 5 or 6. It's going to be interesting to see what the valuation is on him on the market. Does his name alone draw him a lot of money? I wouldn't mind the Astros bringing him back. Look, pitching depth is something you need, right? I know that he's been hurt and you can't completely rely on a guy breaking down, but if you got him for a 1-year deal, there's nothing wrong with having pitching and having multiple pitchers. He's not going to be your ace, like I said. That'll be Framber Valdez. Just where we're at. And when the postseason comes this year, because again, they're still tell you, I still believe they're going to win the division. They go game 1 of the postseason. Justin Verlander's name's not getting called. They go game 2 of the postseason. Justin Verlander's name not getting called. And they go 3. Okay, maybe. See how it shakes out between now and the end of the regular season. Right now, I might lean more towards Kikuchi or Brown. I can't actually. You know what? Yeah. No, Brown's going game 2. What am I doing? Maybe Kikuchi game 3. Can't go Blanco at the moment. Right now, Verlander and Blanco are battling for the 4th spot. That's where they're at. Because those guys, all those other guys have wipeout stuff. And you know what they also have? Big fastballs. We see if Fromber can run it up close to 100 if he wants to. Hunter Brown's running up to 100 this year. Kikuchi's got 100 in the tank as well if he wants it. Verlander's got 96. And stuff is just not as sharp. I'm still going to give him time. Like, I still think he can pitch again his way back to being a 2 or a 3. We'll see if it happens. But I think when you face elite level players, in the Phillies lineup, we talked about this a little bit last night. The Phillies lineup isn't like elite all the way down. It kind of is top 4 heavy for the guys that are like elite level players. And then 5th is Castellanos, who's been that kind of guy before. Not that anymore, but he's not bad. Same goes for Real Muto. Like, he's been an elite level hitter for a catcher. He's above league average now, but he's not like elite. But overall, they got a stacked lineup. There's a reason why they've won 78 games already this year. They were awesome offensively in the first. They're the best offensive team in the first half of the season. Second half of the season's not gone as well, but they're starting to look like a team that's playing more towards that way. But when Verlander faces a lineup like that, especially a lineup that can mash out the ballpark, it just doesn't match up there. I think when it comes to regular season and putting up stats for Verlander, that's all going to come against the bad opponents. He can feast, and it's kind of a hold your breath, hope he gets through it. Not too beat up against the teams that are way better. So that's my truth of Justin Verlander, and just wanted to mention it here on the show. Let's talk now about the news earlier today that Jason Heyward is going to be joining the Astros. We'll do that next here on the Locked On Astros Postcast. Right now, though, I need to tell you that you should be getting supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trades, SupplyHouse.com. SupplyHouse.com is the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business and talk to a real person every time. Pros in the skilled trades can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free Trade Master program. Every Trade Master gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at SupplyHouse.com/TM and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at SupplyHouse.com. Locked On Astros Postcast. Continuing on here on a Tuesday night. Appreciate you guys joining me, your host, Michael Connor. If you're new to the channel tonight, please hit the subscribe button and come on back and join us tomorrow night or tomorrow evening-ish when the Astros play the Phillies for the final game of this 3-game series, where I would assume that they won't have a reinforcement tomorrow, that being Jason Heyward. He, of course, was designated for assignment by the Dodgers recently. Look, he's a 35-year-old outfielder that is hitting .208 this season with 6 home runs. He's a part-time player, and he's not been a regular everyday player for quite some time. And the last time that he really was, I mean, he played quite a bit last year for the Dodgers. He had a good year with the Dodgers last year, actually. But just not the player that can be relied upon to play, all the time. He's been hurt this year, so he hadn't, really gotten it together. I think, let's see. Last season he had 15 home runs for the Dodgers. The Astros are bringing him in for a couple of reasons. One, their outfield depth is poor. We all know that. I mean, they just picked up Ben Gamble the other day, and like I said, he's been a solid addition so far. They are at the point where Chas McCormick cannot play for this baseball team at all. Now, it's going to be interesting to see. This was reported today, how they make this work. There's no report on if it's a major league deal or if it's a minor league deal. They will have to create a spot on the 40-man roster, so they're going to have to do something there. You can always find somebody that's not worthy of being on it and get them knocked off. But if you waited and made this well, I guess no, you technically couldn't. It would have. Well, I guess it could be a minor league deal. You just have to sign them before the 1st. You could do a minor league deal, then call them up on the 1st of September and be your one position player that you get to add, that you don't have to send anybody down. So I don't know how they're going to do it, if it's a major league deal, if it's a minor league deal. But what they signed Jason Heyward for more than anything else is, and it was something that Dana Brown brought up earlier in the year, that they were missing some of the veteran leadership in the clubhouse. You guys can laugh. Everybody has for years, but losing Maldonado, losing Brantley like they did last year, and losing Neris all mattered. Those guys, all three, were big-time voices in that clubhouse last season. Now, of course, they get Neris back, and now they're not getting Maldonado back. That's not happening. But they also bring in a guy that is known as a big-time leader, and he's been that way. If you're not aware of how great his leadership in clubhouses and his voice has mattered, just go Google Jason Heyward, Cubs, World Series, Game 7, and you'll find plenty of stories on the speech that he gave during the rain delay when the Cubs finally ended their drought of winning a World Series. Again, I think anything that you get for, anything that you get from him production-wise, offensively, is simply gravy. He's going to play a solid defense in the outfield, which is really good. He's always been athletic. He's still, even at 35 years old when he's out there, he can move still. But you're not going to expect a lot out of him offensively. And I don't even know how much he's going to play, to be honest with you. He's going to get some looks. There's no denying it. They can hopefully get Kyle Tucker back here soon. And he also gives you more options in the outfield later in the game that you can rely upon. If you have to, if say Kyle Tucker can't play the field every day and he's got to DH some, that means Jordan's got to play left field. Well, Jordan at the end of the game's got to come out. You feel a little bit better about going to Jason Heyward right now than you do going to Chas McCormick. I promise this isn't me just saying this, because like when it happened the other day and they released him, the Dodgers, I started the tweet like I did with the Neris thing the other day. I was like, how long before he's with the Astros? Because it just kind of felt like one of those moves that they'd probably make given the state of the outfield right now. And I didn't. I don't know why I didn't do it. I was middle of something or whatever. And here it is today, the news coming out from Brian McTaggart that, yeah, they are signing Jason Heyward. I think it's a good pickup. I mean, at the end of the year, when there's not a lot of guys available, of course, we don't have the non-waiver deadline anymore, or the waiver deadline anymore. In the month of August, this is kind of how it happens. The Dodgers were in a roster crunch, and they had to get rid of somebody. They're bringing somebody either back or somebody that they signed, and he was the odd man out in that spot. So, I think that the addition of Heyward to the bench and into the clubhouse at this time of the year, I think it's good. I think it's absolutely good. Hopefully he can give a little something occasionally when he does get to play for this team down the stretch. That will do it for us tonight. Again, thank you for joining us here on the Locked On Astros Postcast. Appreciate you guys stopping by. As always, please hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Come back, join us tomorrow night after the Astros and Phillies. 3:05 first pitch, so in the 6:30, or probably around that 6 o'clock range, we should be getting started. So it is a getaway day. Tomorrow's game might be fast. Taijuan Walker up against Spencer Arrighetti. Let's hope the Spaghetti Man brings his stuff tomorrow night. We talk about a win. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday night. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow right here on the Locked On Astros Postcast.